यच्छ्रेयोऽन्यदुतैव प्रेयस्ते उभे नानार्थे पुरुषंसि नीतः तयोः श्रेय आददानस्य साधु भवति हीयतेऽर्थाद्य उप्रेयो वृणीते श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतस्तौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्ति धीरः श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमान् वृणीते सत्वं प्रियान् प्रियरूपांश्च कामान् अभिध्यायन्नचिकेतोऽत्यस्राक्षी नैतान् शृङ्कान् वित्तमयीमवाप्तो यस्यां मज्जन्ति बहवो मनुष्याः दूरमेते विपरीते विशूचि अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता विद्याभिप्सिनं नचिकेतसम्मन्ये नत्वा कामा बहवो लोलुपन्त अविद्यायामन्तरे वर्तमानाः स्वयं धीराः पण्डितं मन्यमानाः दन्द्रभ्यमाणाः पर्यन्ति मूढा अन्धेनैव नीयमाना यथान्धाः न साम्परायः प्रतिभाति बालं प्रमाद्यन्तं वित्तमोहेन मूढम् अयं लोको नास्ति पर इति मानी पुनः पुनर्वशमापद्यते मे श्रवणायापि बहुभिर्यो न लभ्यः शृण्वन्तोऽपि बहवोऽयं न विद्युः आश्चर्यो वक्ता कुशलोऽस्य लब्धा आश्चर्यो ज्ञाता कुशलानुशिष्टः न नरेणावरेण प्रोक्तः एष सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः अनन्यप्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति अणीयान् ह्यतर्क्यमणुप्रमाणात्।
हरि ओम। The seventh mantra Can we just have the seventh mantra, please? Many are not able to even listen to this. Having heard of him, do not comprehend. Thus, a rare one reveals the self, which indeed is a wonder. One who comprehends that self indeed is a wonder, when taught by a proficient preceptor. Anushishtaha means Kushala-anushishtaha. Kushala anushishtaha, taught by a proficient preceptor. So the mantra 7, 8, and part of the 9th mantra have a continuity of thought. You will find a repetition, a certain emphasis in these 3 verses. As I have said, the 7th mantra here is the glorification of the knowledge of Atma Vidya. Many are not able to even listen to the Atman, which is indeed a very sad plight. For a true spiritual guru, He looks for a true seeker who is interested in the essence. If the essence of the Shastras is Brahman, the essence of the Shastras is Atma Vidya, the subject matter of the Shastras is Atma Vidya. And if a guru is teaching the Vedic Shastras, he has to teach Atma Vidya. And to note that very few indeed are even able to listen to Atma Vidya is a very sad state, which is a fact of life. So indeed, in effect, he's saying there are no takers. If I talk anything other than Atman, there are people who will be interested, including the upcoming lecture tour to US in September. I'll be there. There are many a place I am visiting. But more than once I've been told, Guruji, please don't talk of Bhagavad Gita, don't talk of Shastras, don't talk any text. Please tell us how to manage stress, how to manage pressures, how to deal with relationships, how to deal with children, how to manage this, how to manage that. That's all they're interested in. They're all caught up in the samsara. They're struggling in the samsaric challenges. They're not who rare indeed, I'm not saying they are none, but rare indeed are those who are liberated from the clutches, from the thraldoms of the samsaric bondage and seek the higher or the highest pursuit of life, which is to seek Atma Vidya. Having heard of it, many do not comprehend. So of those who are able to lend their ears to the Shastric study, first of all, very few listen. Of the few who listen, who can actually comprehend, what do you mean comprehend? Can actually conceive the goal of self-realization, can actually devote their life to the attainment of self-realization. That again is indeed, it filters out further. Now, in the context of the first two lines of the mantra, there's a famous verse from the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, the 7th chapter of the Gita, the 3rd verse, very, very famous verse from the 7th chapter. Gayatri Ma will share it. There you go. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidhyatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschinmam veti tattvataha. Exact context, it is explained there. He says, among thousands of men, rare one strives for perfection. Manushyanam sahasreshu. Thousands here means those days when he said thousands, now it is millions, billions. Means amongst the entire human race, a rare one strives for perfection. Of those who strive and succeed, rare one knows me in essence. Yatatam siddhanam. Yatatam means those who strive. Siddhanam means those who succeed. Tattvataha. Veti tattvataha. Hardly anybody knows me in essence. There's also mention in the Viveka Chudamani. In the Viveka Chudamani, there is a comparison of a human being to other living beings, other living species. If you take all the living beings on planet Earth, if you were to consider even the microorganisms which go through the birth and death, they're also going through the passage of Janma, they're also exhausting their karma, their vasanas. If you compare a human being to the other living species, it is 1:infinite. So they are infinite if you were to take care of the plants, the animals, the birds, the bees, the worms, the insects, the ants. In fact, if you weigh, I don't know how they came to that calculation. There was a study in one of the scientific programs that if you weigh the 8 billion people on one side, and if you weigh all the ants alone on the other side on a weigh balance, ants will easily outweigh all the humans just by weighing. In the weighing scale, if you were to weigh only ants. So don't be terrified if they're ants. Vijayji, we are trying our best, but don't worry. The first thing Vijayji came to the institute, he is ordered ant medicine. We are all inclusive and you're trying to be exclusive. Array, what is this? Sadly, sorry to say, we have not yet put the dots. We haven't had time to pin the medicine and put the medicine. So the medicine is still there. Now you will know what is the kind of efficiency. So please forgive us for that. Only reason is we are trying to be a little more inclusive, that's all. Ants easy outweigh all humans. So first and foremost, the first comparison is to be born as a human being itself is such a rarity. You and I don't understand the amount, the path we have taken, which has led us to a human being, and a human being is said to be the pinnacle of evolution. As evolution has happened for I don't know how many years, how many generations, we have evolved from that micro organism to a human being. So to be born as a human being itself is a great privilege, which I don't think you and I understand. Only when you compare in the magnitude as what the Viveka Chudamani says, man, to be born itself is a blessing. Now, don't pat your back. The verse is being a little more critical here. And even the 7th chapter, 3rd verse puts it more succinctly. Now, let's break it down. Amongst all human beings, how many people have what is known as the Purushatvam? There is this quality of Purushatvam. Purushatvam means that ability to explore the unknown. It is that exploratory nature. Purushatvam in English, it's called manhood. I'm not gender biased here, but it is an English terminology. One who has that exploratory nature is known as a manhood. Simple example could be a fisherman has that exploratory nature. He goes into the open oceans, into the open seas to catch the fish. The lady receives the produce or the catch which the fisherman brings. She cuts the fish or the whatever is bought, and she prepares and serves the family. A conservative attitude that can be prevalent in a man or a woman. It doesn't necessarily gender-based. So all the ladies in the classroom, please relax. Don't worry. So the Purushatvam is the exploratory nature of the 8 billion people. How many have Purushatvam? Filtered. You come to a certain bracket. Third aspect of the Purushatvam, how many are able to direct that Purushatvam towards the sattvic goal of self-realization? I have exploratory, I want to expand my business, I want to discover this, I want to do a scientific inquiry, I want to do something in the world. You are venturing out into the worldly success, or you are very conservative. No, I have acquired this much, I have this much savings, I'm quite content in that. I don't want to go into new frontiers to expand my scope of work. Still, that is worldly. But of the people who have the Purushatvam to explore that unknown, Atman is unknown. It is beyond the terrestrial into the transcendental. Now, how many have the Purushatvam towards the transcendental? Sattvic pursuit. Further filter. Of those who have the Purushatvam towards that sattvic goal, How many have that ability to have Shraddha to it? Shraddha is to have that consistency of purpose where nothing comes and interrupts or interferes in your pursuit. As you know, anything you wish to do, there are obstacles and challenges. Furthermore, you want to attain something good, or you want to do something good or achieve the higher, there are far greater obstacles. You want to do any work in life, it is obstacle, isn't it? You want to construct a building, it has, oh my God, so many permissions, so many grants, so many clearances. One tree is there, they'll not allow you to cut the tree. You have to get permission to cut the tree before you start construction in your own land. You're not doing any public thing. So many challenges, so many clearances you have to do, so much to get the job going. You have the money, everything is there, but you have so many challenges. But when you want to do some good, you want to serve this knowledge, you want to uplift humanity, you want to spread this wisdom. Other day, a lady called me, referred through one of the class members. She called me out of the blue. Srinivasji knows about her. That lady, she said, "Sir, I come to know of your visit to US. I really am excited if you can drop by to our part of the country. I know you are not coming there, but we will be so delighted to receive you, host you, and arrange some lectures for you." And then she went about saying, "You people are doing such good work to, for Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma needs this," and things like that. I said, "Ma, I don't know you, but I'm sorry, I have to correct you. Sanatana Dharma does not need me. Sanatana Dharma does not need any guru. Please understand that. I am doing it for my own development. I am not trying to have my tail up or my ego up and say, I am serving Sanatana Dharma. Please, let's not get this. Let the spirit right. The knowledge doesn't need me. So what we are trying to do is to serve so that I evolve and take others in the path of higher journey." I have that clarity very clear. Otherwise, some ahankar will come and start doing tandava on your head. Why do you have to do? The day you have ahankar is when you have an inhibition that you can't take a broom and sweep. That day I know I've got ahankar. Any one of you in your own home, in your own organization, in your own place, if you have that inhibition, how can I broom Panigraji? Not in private, in presence of your own staff. Do you have an inhibition to take a mop or a broom or take a cloth and wipe your own office room? Perhaps when you go to your desk or your office, everything is set up. Your AC is on, your paperwork is ready for your work, everything is assigned for you by your secretary, by your people. But if the moment you say, how can I do it? The moment that thought comes that I can't pick up a broom or a mop, that the day I know I have developed ahankar. So that's an acid test I put for myself. Whether you want to put for yourself, that's up to you. But why should you feel anything about it? That just because you are a guru or a teacher, does it mean you can't do other things? No, that should never come into our lives. There should be that. I do that with great pleasure, time permitting. The whole purpose of karma is to destroy the karta, the doership, and the ego in it. So how can any work be small or big? There is no work small or big. So what I'm trying to say, don't lose the context. When you are trying to do something good, there are bound to be obstacles and challenges and hiccups. Resources may be a challenge. Manpower may be a challenge. Your own distraction may be a challenge. People can be a challenge. They will not support you. Can I guarantee I'll have your support? How many people have come and gone? Out of whim or fancy, they've dropped you. I don't talk to them, they dropped you. Am I a PR fellow buttering everybody here? Am I to keep wishing you good morning, good night? What do you expect me to do? I have nothing in my mind when I say that. As so many people, they don't like something I do or something this. I can't relate to that idea. Drop, plump. Like the first thing you drop is this. So there are innumerable challenges, and I've seen a fair bit of challenges for the last 3 decades. I know what I'm talking. But yet, to ensure that your sadhana goes on in the pursuit of the higher, again, how many of them have Shraddha? Some of them filter out, drop off. Of those who are born as a human being, I'm repeating, who are born as a human being, who have the Purushatvam, who have the Purushatvam with that sattvic nature, who have the Shraddha to Sattva, how many of them have got the right guru and the right teachings? All of that is ready, but I may get a wrong guru. I'm stuck with a guru who may not be fit for me or may not be the right guru. The guru may be right, the teachings are not right. What could be the possibility that you get the right guru and the right teachings? And then with all that, he says, there's no guarantee you'll attain moksha in this janma. Of them, rare indeed is one who reaches the goal. Kaschin mam veti tattvataha. Rare indeed one reaches that goal of self-realization. So the first two lines when he says, many are not able to listen to this. Atman, having heard, do not comprehend. Thus, a rare one reveals the self. So the first two lines, I gave a reference to the 7th chapter, 3rd verse. Now here he says, here is glorifying the guru here. To find a right guru, I mentioned in the previous satsang, a true guru has these two aspects to him. One is Shrotriyam, another is Brahmanishtam. These two aspects of a guru, I'll explain. As I said, this and the next and the part of the 9th mantra, the same theme is carried. So you will not miss it. If you miss it now, you will get it repeated. Now, this two words which qualify a guru appears in the Mundaka Upanishad. So in the second section, chapter 1, section 2, mantra 12. Those of you who want to take a note, that's the reference. Chapter 1, section 2, mantra 12 of Mundaka Upanishad gives the actual reference to the qualities of a guru. A Shrotriyam is one who is well versed in the Shastras, who has the command of the Vedic literature. He can twist and quote. He is well read, well versed in Vedic study. Shrotriyam. Brahmanishtam means one who is well established in God consciousness. Brahmanishtam. Brahma, Brahma, Nishtam, Brahmanishtam. So Shrotriyam means well versed. Brahmanishtam, who is well established in God consciousness. In effect, he has attained the state of Brahman. He has that personal experience of Brahman. So in fact, he is Brahman himself. He's like God himself talking to you. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. The Lord himself talks to you like that. Okay, there you go. I don't know how Gayatri Ma does this, but she has this all the information at her fingertips. The moment we say it, it comes out. So much appreciated, Ma. So the 12th mantra, it says, Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedhamaya nastya krita kritena tadvijnanartha sagurumevabhigachet samitpane shrotriyam brahmanishtham. So the last two words of the mantra, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. This is the actual reference. Now, what does the mantra say? Let's read the context of it. Having examined the world's gain by action, Parikshalokan Karmachitan. It's so tempting for me to explain, but I'll explain. Though we may be out of context, but let me explain this. Having examined the world's gained by action, you people are all running behind the world, acting in the world. Whatever actions you perform, you have gained some fruits of your action. So a Brahmana, what does he do? He examines what is gained by the actions in the world. A Brahmana should turn indifferent towards them. Nirveda ayat. Brahmana nirveda ayat should become dispassionate, indifferent towards them. How many of us, how many of you have that dispassion to what you have created? You have created name, you have created wealth, you have created reputation, you have created a following, you have created institution, you have created a lineage. Oh, I have children, grandchildren, I have great grandchildren. Ah, I'm very proud of what I have achieved. Pat your back. Big deal. Whatever you have created, can you grow indifferent towards them? Because the uncreated, akrita, krutena, akrutena, the uncreated cannot be attained by kritaha, by action. All the action which gain the world can't give you the uncreated. To know that Brahman, he should, with sacrificial faggots in hand, samitpani, the trademark of a true student. He approaches the Guru with samitpani, with firework for the Guru. Means to give something what the Guru needs. That is a trademark of a Shishya, to approach with sacrificial faggots. Approach only a Guru who is Shrotriyam, who is learned in the scriptures, Brahmanistam, established in Brahman. That's it. Outstanding verse. Fascinating verse. Always keep this verse handy, ma. Outstanding. Mundaka Upanishad, chapter 1, section 2, mantra 12. So to find a guru who is Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam is a rarity. There may be one amidst you, but you must have the eyes to judge, isn't it? As in English saying, only a Milton can understand a Milton. Only an architect can understand what architecture is. Only a musician can appreciate music. Only a painter can appreciate painting. Only a designer has an eye for designing. Only a philosopher can understand a philosopher. Only a guru can understand a guru. So you don't sit in judgment who is a fake guru, who is a real guru, by what you see them wear, what you see them act, what you see them smear on their foreheads, or what you see them robe. That is not the way you define a guru. A guru is one who is well versed in the Shastras and established in consciousness. Our question is, before you judge them, find out, ask yourself, am I established in God consciousness? Am I Brahmanishtam? Point one. Am I well versed in the Shastras to judge them? Ask yourself. To the extent you are, to that extent you can see. Beyond that, it is something gray, very gray. I'm saying in every sphere of life, only a Milton can understand a Milton. So let's not judge beyond your, never go beyond your capacity. Live within your capacity. As they say in Hindi language, choti muh badi baat. Never be choti muh badi baat. Live up to your capacity, man. Don't try to, you know, an eagle also flies. Even a chicken also fly. If the chicken thinks I can fly, please calm down. What are you thinking? You think you can fly? Before you fly, you have to land. Otherwise, you will gate crash. What you call crash landing, not gate crash, sorry. You'll have a crash landing. So understand your limitation before you start getting into the mode of judging others. But a true guru, which is a rarity, the Shastras are saying, so to come in association with a man who is established in the Shastras, sorry, who's established in the Brahman and find the ways and means to deliver this knowledge is a rarity. A welcome break. Thanks to Vijayji. Yes, sir. Please.
Hare Krishna. So just to clarify that that thing we saw on social media, if he gave 1 crore to everyone, he would wipe out poverty in an instant. But
No. He doesn't say poverty is being wiped out. They're only trying to describe his amount of wealth, what he has got.
Correct. So it was the person who put the post said there are 140 crore people in India. You only give 1 crore to everyone.
Oh, you already have that social media clipping in front of you. I know that. You
No,
are
no,
a king of. You are a master of all
I
that.
saw
So it's
it
okay.
1-2 days ago. But
okay.
jokes aside, of course that calculation was wrong because 140 giving 1 crore to 140 crore people, it's beyond. He just thought he spent 5,000 crore, giving 140 crore will be nothing, but he didn't realize it's 1 rupee per 140 crore people. So
I'm also wrong. I said that's why I said I'm quoting something. How right is wrong, wrong is right. It's up to you. But I'm saying that man has got so much wealth which I don't understand. I can't put it. My little mind can't fathom that. So I say, never mind. He has got money. His money he has spent, which is just a speck of his wealth. So be it. What have I got to do with it? Let me not waste my time breaking my head. What is done with his wealth?
So my question was actually between Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam, which one of the two is more important? And two, what is the can you expand on Brahmanishtam? How is that different from being enlightened or reaching that high level of consciousness? Because establishing God consciousness can have different spectrums, right? You could be dedicated towards it, but not yet really reached the ultimate goal. So how can you expand on that, please?
What was the first question, please?
Out of Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam, which one is more important?
No, sir. These both qualify a true guru. If I have the ability to talk, but if I don't have God consciousness, I'm not talking about the self. I'm only talking empty words. As Shakespeare says, it's words, words, words. In Hamlet, he says, what I'm talking is empty words. But it's important, the spirit that is conveyed through the words. So in fact, when I'm talking, what is talking is the Atman in me is talking to you. I'm not talking. I'm just a mere instrument. The Atman, that wisdom that I have attained, I've acquired, speaks through me. And also, in order to convey and communicate, I must have that art and skill to communicate. I must have that ability to tempo my message, to be able to connect with the audience, to be able to fall back on the authority which are the Shastras. So I must devote to the Shastric study. It's just not play of words. I must surrender to the Shastric study. So a true guru doesn't consider himself as authority. He says, I am just conveying what the Shastras have conveyed. So in fact, in the Gita also, throughout the Gita, it says, Prahuhu, they have said so, they have said so. Throughout the Vedic studies, a guru always refer to the Shastras. So the Shastra Pramana, the Veda Pramana, the Shastras alone are the authority for what is being said. So a guru should have a command over Shastric teachings, the Vedic Pramana, so that he can fall back on the authority, because they are the authority. If I say, oh, there are gurus out there who go about saying, I have not read any Shastras, I have not done this, I have got this wisdom, I am the authority. What audacity they have. Who do you think you are? Just because you are able to attract millions of people because of your speech and words and mysticism, you think you are a guru? Nah, how can you demean the Shastras? How can you demean the authority? The Vedic Shastras are the authority. So to have dwelled into the Shastric study, so that you have the references, so that you can fall back on authority, and having extracted the wisdom of the Shastras. So the wisdom of the Shastras is Brahmanishtam. Sir, I can be a Brahmanishtam. Means I can be a man of wisdom because I have done some sadhana in the Purva Janma. So I have done a Vedantic study. I have done Shravana and Manana and Purva Janma. So this Janma I have born wise. But I am not a man of words. So I go about doing, I don't know, disrespect to anybody. I can be hugging people in the name of spirituality. There are people who just go about hug. That is spirituality for them. I may be wise, but am I qualified guru? Am I Shrotriyam? I am not Shrotriyam. I can't talk about the teachers, Vedic teachings. I have not studied the Shastric study, but I can be wise. No. If you can have one who are Shrotriyam, Shrotriyam means who are Vedic Pandits. Vedic Pandits also rattle off the Vedic texts. They also will twist and torture and quote Vedic textbooks. They will mesmerize an audience, but they are not established in Brahmanishtam. So to have the combination of Brahmanishtam and Shrotriyam, such a guru is a rarity. And you need both, which is a qualification of a true guru. I am again falling back. It's not my own imagination. I fell back on authority. Kathopanishad, chapter 1, section 2, mantra 12. Go back and refer to the authority. So a guru has to have both elements in him. For example, the great Ramana, he did not teach the Shastras, but he was a man of enlightenment. As a young man, as a young boy, he went into the Tiruvannamalai, he was lost in the mountains and he attained moksha, Brahmanishtam. He has done such tapas in the Purva Janma that at a young age, without much effort, he attained moksha. He communicated through silence. So a true guru is one who is eloquent of the Shastras, who is established in God consciousness. Now, sir, is it better to have a guru who communicates or who is dumb? A person who communicates, who speaks to you, who conveys to you, who relates to you, who can give the message to you. Whether that man is, we are not saying a person who doesn't do is less or more. We are not here in judgment. We are not branding anybody here. I'm only trying to explain the question. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. This is what a true guru, as per the Shastras. Various men have come, various gurus have come and gone. Scores of them have come and gone. Each one has lived up to their own personality. But they may not fall under the category of Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam. I repeat, there are many people who are Shrotriyam. There are many great men who are Brahmanishtam. It is not for us to judge or pass remarks at them. But to have the combination of the two is a rarity. Indeed a rarity. Who has that aura and the command to be able to bring down the Vedic teachings and do justice to the Shastras. That is a rarity. It dissolves.
Yes, there was. Can you expand on the term established in God consciousness? What exactly?
So see, the God consciousness means one who has revealed the self, one who has realized the self. And that can be it doesn't have to be in absolute terms. It can be in relative terms. A relative term means the discovery of the self is relative and absolute. I could have discovered 40% of the Atman in me. I could have discovered 70% of Atman in me. I can discover the 100% Atman in me. A person who has completely discovered the Atman, he is said to be self-realized. A person who has not realized, but yet he has unfolded the self. It's not 0 and 100. It is grades. To the extent you keep doing the sadhana, to the extent you keep burning off your vasanas, which is the spiritual dirt, you have unfolded the self. Self-realization is measured by the burning of the avidya, the burning of vasanas, the burning of desires. So when the desires and avidya is burnt off, that much you are closer to the self. It's like if I say, if I filled my tank, which will give me a mileage of 500 kilometers, and if I keep driving towards my goal, the more I keep burning my fuel, that means I'm that much closer to the goal, isn't it? Because I've calculated, I've not gone off track, and I'm on my journey to my goal. If there is a way, imagine there's no signage anyway onto your goal. The only way to measure is the number of kilometers, or the fuel tank is the gauge. Oh, I have 70% fuel tank is empty, only 30% left. That means 70% I'm closer to my destination. Imagine if they have to calculate that way. How do you calculate how closer you are to yourself? There's no barometer. There's no means of measuring how close you are to self, which is what they say. Desires are the means of measuring how close you are to the self. Man minus desires equals God. So to the extent you have burnt off your ego and your desires, to that extent you are close to the self. Completely annihilate your desires. You are one with the self.
So the word established, what does established mean? I mean, you're talking about percentages, like how much of the vasanas and desires you've exhausted. So the term established comes into play at what point? 20%,
every point.
40%.
I am also established in the self. You're also established in self. The question is degree. What separates all of us is the degree of establishment.
Oh.
To the extent you have put in your sadhana, to that extent you have revealed the self, you have unfolded the self. And nobody can deny that fact. To the extent you are exposed to the sun, baked the sun, you will be tanned by the sun. The sun doesn't belong to anybody. Does it belong to anybody? It belongs to one and all. Similarly, the self belongs to one and all. Just because one man has realized that self doesn't belong to him. It is as much if Ramatirtha realized, if the great Ramana realized, if the great Ramakrishna Paramahamsa realized, the self belonged to them as much as it belongs to you and me. It is their birthright, it is your birthright, it is my birthright. The question is, do I have the Purushatvam in me? Do I have the urge in me to realize it? And to the extent I'm pursuing it, to that extent it belongs to me. So nobody can claim it as theirs. Religions are formed when people claim it is theirs. Sanatana Dharma is not a religion, is not an ism. All religions revolved around a personality. Christianity revolved around Christ. Buddhism revolved around Buddha. And so on. Islam revolves around the great Muhammad. But that doesn't belong to him. I can't say sun belongs to me because I bake under the sun. Or I bask under the sun. I can't say the sun is mine. What audacity is that? Is as audacious as that to say this is mine. No, it doesn't belong to you. It is birthright of every human being to get to the self, to realize the self. So to the extent you have it in you, Manushyanam Sahasreshu, the thousands, scarce one. If you are the scarce one who has it in you to have detached to the world that your karma has produced. I'm just mixing up the Mundaka and also the 7th chapter of the Gita. If you have that in you and you have the fire in you to seek the self, to the extent you seek it, to that extent you become Brahmanishta. You're establishing God consciousness. You may or may not be a Shrotriyam, but you are realized. Some may choose not to communicate. Some may not choose to be read in the Shastras. So it doesn't make them any less. But as per the Shastric study, an ideal guru, this is the definition. Whether you fit into that or not is secondary. It's not for us to sit and judge who fits into it or not. So please don't get offended. There is no offense. Sir, whether I say anything or not doesn't make a difference to what the fact is. I am a realized soul or I'm not a realized soul. If you people don't believe in it, does it make me less realized? Or if you all believe me, I think this Guru Purnima, we will honor Guru, my Guru, and say he is a realized soul. Are? I know I'm not realized, but if we all collectively decide, form a union and say, we will start describing him a realized soul, does it make me realized? It doesn't make a difference to what I am. But the Shastric study is the means, Shrotriyam is the means to Brahmanishtam. That's what we say, Shravana. You must listen to the Gurus, learn the Shastras, study the Shastras, do Manana, and extract the wisdom, which is Brahmanishtam. So Shrotriyam is the means, Brahmanishtam is the end, the goal. But I can be a Brahmanishtam because I could have done some Vedantic study. Purva Janma Vedanta Shravana I must have done. But this Janma I have done nothing. So I'm Brahmanishtam. But I have not done any study this Janma. So I may not be able to talk to you of the Shastras.
Again, with the Shastras, there are so many Shastras. So how does one, like proficient in Shastra, it's such a generic term, like, because every Shastra will give you a different aspect of the divine.
The Upanishads are the highest.
Okay.
Nothing, anything other than that is lower. The Upanishad is the highest Shastric study, and which is what we are studying. Right now, we are studying an Upanishad. You can study many parts of the Shastras, but Upanishads are the highest, and they denounce any other lower forms of study. Because these Shastras do not talk of anything other than Brahman. The moment you divulge anything other than Brahman, it is the lower forms of worship, which they denounce.
Okay. And it
So
says in the Upanishads.
Yeah, the Vedas directly say they denounce the lower forms. Denounce in the sense they say they belong to the lower classes of people. But this is the higher. This is the highest, the lower higher. There is a clear hierarchy. What is the highest truth? What is the lower truth? It is not to demean or dismiss, but it's saying it is a lower. At least to tell you that there is something higher. If there is no hierarchy, you will think what you're doing is the best, isn't it? How would you know, am I doing the right study? How would you know, is there further for me to reach? You would know. So the Upanishads are the highest. It's like saying those who scale mountains, I often take that example. Those who scale mountains, amongst the mountaineers, the discussion is this the highest? There are mountain ranges above 8,000 meters height. I think there are, I don't know, X number of mountains. There are people who climb 8,000 meters height, certainly, but they may not have summited the Mount Everest, which is the highest. Those who have reached, what is the dialogue of a person who has summited Mount Everest to those who have summited other mountains of 8,000 above meters? Sir, you have reached, but you have not reached the highest. The highest is Mount Everest. That is the language of one who has scaled the Mount Everest to someone who has scaled above 8,000 meters. That itself is very high, but that is not the highest, sir. It's a factual mention. That is what the Shastra say. Upanishadic study, Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya is the highest. And there's nothing higher than that. Anything higher than that is lower. A matter of fact, not being sarcastic, just a matter of information. With this information, you should do an independent inquiry.
Yeah, that's why
Shastra doesn't belong to a particular time. They don't have a name. They don't have an identity. These Vedas are the original text. Everything else are abridged versions of the truth. Are experiences captured of a great saint, no doubt. But a commentary or a version of the truth can't replace the original works. Get that right. The Vedas are the very root Like in a tree, there are the primary root and secondary roots. These are all secondary roots which have emerged. If the secondary root says, I am the most important, you must understand you're just offshoot from the primary root. So the primary root are the Vedas. You take them off, the tree is felled. The tree doesn't stand. The tree can stand with the primary and the secondary. Indeed, it needs secondary roots also, out of context, maybe. But the primary root is the parent from where the secondary roots are born.
So the Shastra,
Parent is the Vedas. Sir, which is what he's saying. In the seventh mantra, many people can't even listen to the Atman. Many people, hundreds, you will find 5,000 people sitting listening to Bhagavatam. You tell that same guru to talk of Atma Vidya, 10 people will not sit there.
it's boring. That's why, no. That's why it's Srimad Bhagavatam.
It's not the question of boring or interesting. It's the question of the student caliber and the caliber of the guru. What you teach and what kind of students you attract. You want quality workmanship, you throw peanuts, you only get monkeys, they say, isn't it? You want to get a quality serviceman to repair your job, you have to be ready to pay them the money. They'll come. Quality serviceman will come and serve you. You will find a handyman coming and doing all jobs for you. But is that guy a proficient person? That's up to you to figure out.
Wasn't Srimad Bhagavatam a discourse that was taken in front of all the Saptarishis, including Vyasadev?
Sir, I am not saying anything here. Please don't get me wrong. There is not denying the fact, but they're all, Bhagavad Gita also is explaining the same truth. Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses, talks of 3 words, Tat Tvam Asi. Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art, is an aphorism which is contained in the Vedas and the Upanishads. 700 verses are explaining those 3 words, not alphabets, 3 words. They are doing the same thing. I can be telling a story with conveying the same moral. Is it concentrated or diluted? I'm only saying, when I say I am the guru of the text here, as it were, what the Kathopanishad is saying here in the 7th mantra, it says, when many are not able to listen to the Atman because they are not ready to conceive the goal of self-realization. Of the people who are sitting and listening to any scriptures, any study, which is any text being taught, how many are being talked of self-realization? Moksha, seek moksha. Nobody will come back. It is a spiritual entertainment going on, sir. Please forgive me. If you start entertaining people, spiritual numbers will flock in numbers. Numbers will flock to you. The moment you don't want to spiritual entertain, want to talk business, no true businessman will waste. I know you are a businessman, sir. And I have noted that in you. You will not talk anything unnecessary out of context, which is a quality I have noted in you in the little interaction I've had with you. No unnecessary talk. I don't know if people complimented you with that.
Yeah, they say I don't speak much. Even
what you speak is only to the context.
Yeah.
You don't speak much, and what you speak is only to the context and what is relevant. It doesn't matter to you, it doesn't interest you. And I appreciate that. I have noted that quality in you. No beating around the bush. Come to the point, get the job done and move on. Nothing else to do. The spiritual gurus out there, plus just go out with an open mind and see what are the kind of gurus that are there. It is not for us to sit and judge. It's their problem what they're doing. But just to see, since we're talking of Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam, let us find out what is the marketplace. My God, you must be blessed to have a guru who is Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam. Blessed. That was it was the 5th point. The 5th point we said in the order of Katrima. Did you all take note of that? The 5th point is to get the right guru and the teachings, isn't it? That's a rarity.
There's a 6th point. Yeah.
What are the points? Can you please mention, sir?
So first of all, out of all the billions of living organisms, humans is the highest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ability to explore the unknown. How many people have this exploratory nature from the 8 billion people?
Mm-hmm.
Of the and how many are able to direct the Purusha Tattvam towards sattvic pursuits? And then how many have the ability to have Shraddha towards the sattvic?
Mm-hmm.
How many of them have the right guru and the right teachings from the above list?
So 0.5.
And then of the above, rare is the one who
Attains
has
the self.
from Vishnu. So
Indeed,
sorry,
a
I
rarity.
asked so many questions, but it's like I was trying to get clarity.
Hari Om Guruji, this Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi is one of the who lived till 1950 or so, and there is a lot of people who have even video recorded him and written a lot of books about him, and there is a lot of interviews with him, and a lot of literature is available. And the experience of all those, see, he never claimed himself. He says Atman is in everyone, and what he has achieved, anyone can achieve. And he had a simple formula. But those who came all the way those days, when in early days, people who came, particularly foreigners by ship, traveling 3 months, 6 months, and with lot of questions, their experience has been the moment they sat before him, all their questions vanished. Just his silence alone answered, and they were fully satisfied, and then they became devotees of him, stayed back, even had their samadhi there. So I don't know why he is a guru. I will call him Sadguru or Bhagavan, not a guru. Much above the guru. That is at least my feeling. I am at a very lower level, but from what I studied about him and the sharing of even realized, even Chinmayananda ji is the one who revived the whole thing in the recent past. This Upanishads and all. He has gone on record saying before he went to Shivananda to get the sannyas, just look from Ramana Maharishi transformed him. This has gone again, he has gone on record in his own autobiography. So, and he has done, because he was never exposed to all this literature before he attained, he started learning only from the devotees about these literatures. And what he said, whatever Shastras are saying, he was on a couple of occasions he has mentioned that he has experienced all these things. He never went through the formal route. So I rate him definitely with this thing you mentioned. He is not a guru.
But Shrotriyam means one who is well versed in the Shastras.
Realized soul. World
Sorry,
was
sir?
realized soul, but he never told I am a realized. He says,
No realized soul, sir. It is nothing unique to Bhagavan. No realized soul will ever claim is realized. That has been in the history of realized souls. It is nothing unique to Bhagavan. Please understand this. No realized soul will ever claim his realized soul. So Bhagavan only followed the tradition of what realized souls do. How is Bhagavan unique in that? Is Bhagavan only realized soul in history? No. There are many, many other realized souls. No realized soul has ever claimed himself to be realized. One realized soul doesn't make another greater than another realized soul. All are the same. But with reference to humanity, with reference to illiterates from our point of view, we need someone who can spoon feed us. Other day, there was a video of a small bird. A small bird. It started walking. it started walking with its mouth open. You know, it was walking behind a worm. Are you able to read the context, Setuji? There was a worm that was crawling, and this little bird, it has started to walk. It is walking with its mouth open behind the worm. You know the context, what I'm saying? Till then, the mother used to feed the worm into the bird's mouth. The mother brings the worm and feeds into the mouth of the baby bird. When it started walking, it saw a worm crawling. It's opening his mouth and running behind the worm, thinking the worm will go into the mouth. It doesn't. It doesn't. It needs to be told that you have to pick it up, put it in the mouth. We are all not in a point where we can self-help ourselves. We all need gurus who can teach us methodology. What worked for one guru, what worked for Ramana may not work for everybody. Ramana did all the Purva Janma he has done. Just because it worked for him doesn't mean it's a universal principle for all mankind. The universal path is the karma, bhakti, jnanam, which is what the Shastras are glorifying. The Shastras are not telling you and sit in meditation under a cave and you'll realize. They don't talk of it because it's not meant for humanity. What one guru has realized, what Tyagaraja has realized, the same Tyagaraja also has attained moksha, but he attained moksha through bhakti. Is that the standard path for everybody? It can't be. So what the Shastras are saying of the path to enlightenment, karma, bhakti, jnanam, dharana, uparati, dharana, dhyana, moksha. This is the path which the Shastras have said. This existed way before all the gurus have realized. The Vedas have no time in history. 5,000, 10,000 years ago. You're talking of 50, 100 years ago of a guru or some great Bhagavan, great soul you're talking about. Not to deny it. Please don't get me wrong. We are not denying anything. But they cannot dwarf the Shastras. The Shastra Pramana, the Veda Pramana is the authority. No guru is an authority. So every guru has to fall back on the Shastra Pramana. So there are 4 ways of imparting a knowledge. First is, what are the 4 ways of imparting knowledge or gaining knowledge? Any idea? First is pratyaksha, direct perception. Second is anumana, inference. The third is upamana, comparison. The fourth is agama, tradition. So tradition is the authority of the Shastras. When a guru talks, he refers to the gurus of the past, which are the Shastras. Agama, tradition, Shastra Pramana, Veda Pramana is the authority. No guru is an authority. It is not a personality over the Shastra Pramana, no. Sanatana Dharma is the Shastra. This ocean of knowledge, the ocean of wisdom is the authority. What one guru finds a way for his enlightenment cannot be the path, cannot override the Shastra Pramana. So what has happened yesterday? All over the world there has been chaos because the master cloud which stores the Microsoft or all the Windows, whatever that has happened, gate crash. The whole systems all over the world, gate crash. Banks are not working, ATMs not working, flight systems were failure because that's the main parent body which controls it. No one individual can't override that parent body. The parent body is the controller. So the parent body of wisdom, that reservoir of wisdom, that ocean of wisdom is the Shastras. That is and will remain the authority. No individual, like there was a mention of Christ or Buddha, no individual can override authority. And if there is any ambiguity of what was said today, I would humbly request all of you to listen to the recordings again. I'm very, very mindful of the choice of words. It is not to, the objective is only to explain what the Shastra is saying. It is not to touch on any sentiments of any individual or any personal appreciation or affinity to a personality or a religion or a guru. The objective is only to understand what the Shastra is saying. We are just a part in the totality. We are just in the, it's like the river is complaining, or river can never go, the river can never go against the ocean. The river has to merge into the ocean. So all religions are like the rivers. Religions are revolved around personalities. These personalities have to merge into the ocean of knowledge, which is the Sanatana Dharma. No river can say, I am superior. Ganges can't say, I am the mighty Ganges. It doesn't realize one day it's going to merge with the same ocean. The river has a birth and death. The ocean has no birth and death. We are talking of the ocean of knowledge. We're not talking of the birth of a river and an end of a river. No river is superior. So there is that attempt to bring about a universality to the teachings, not a specific appreciation of a teaching. So please get that sentiment right. Okay. Thanks, Situji. Right, sir. Panigraji, I know we have just overshot, but still I'll be happy to clarify your question.
Guruji, in fact, I had a very fundamental question. I believed so far that finding a guru is a kind of a spontaneous thing. Like we are born to our parents, and something happens so moto. So many people, so many enlightened people, they have found their own gurus for inspiration and things like that. Having heard these attributes of a guru, does anybody makes a conscious effort for evaluating a person in terms of these two attributes and then accepts him or her as a guru? Or it happens, because so far I was holding this view that you don't know when you meet your guru and it happens. It's a natural and spontaneous process.
Indeed, it's all a divine intervention. How it happens, we do not know. You can't go into the marketplace and start doing shopping of spiritual gurus. I don't think it works that way. There has to be the divine providence. You have a natural affinity towards a particular personality or a particular style or a particular lineage. Some people have a lineage towards the Adi Shankaracharya movement, so they are naturally drawn to it. They have a lineage. Or some may have towards Jainism, or any ism or any guru for that matter. And it is not right or wrong. It's a natural affinity, but it is also important that there has to be a perfect compatibility between demand and supply. And that has to be a conscious effort. Say a demand is, as every student brings a certain requirement for his growth. If you're an intellectual, you have a certain requirement. If you're a devotional student, you have a specific requirement. If you're a karma yogi, you have a specific requirement. So if a student who is a devotional person goes to an intellectual guru, an intellectual guru will not, he may be a Shrotriyam and Brahmanishtam, but he may not be able to satisfy the emotional demand of a student. So there has to be a compatibility between demand and supply. It is not one guru for all. Or it's not one student who can take all gurus and say, I will take everybody and help myself. That is not, it's a very highly scientific path. People don't realize that. It's not a random picking up of a guru. It's not an emotional bondage to a personality. It's not something that you are fallen in love with, a spiritual love with a personality, or a spiritual love with a path, or a spiritual love with a country or a region. It can't be like that. And it's not a fall at first sight as well. I've had, I can take references on context where a guru said, I'm not the right guru for you. You are a wonderful student, but I'm not the right guru for you. It's for the guru to find out whether the guru can help a student or not. The guru is well qualified in his area, but the student doesn't need the guru. So guru is unfit for the student. There are instances that like that. So you must understand it is not one for all and all for one. It has to be a specific, tailor-made requirement according to your needs. And when you become specific, you will find somebody to come and help you. Like for example, I can talk of my own seniors, in the ashram. There was a student in South Africa. He was involved with Ramakrishna Mutt, if I'm not wrong, if I'm quoting rightly. For years, he used to do seva. He used to drive a truck for the ashram, doing service from morning to evening. He used to go from one city to other, transport goods of the ashram, and he was doing laborious work. But for years, he did karma. He was eager to learn Vedantic scriptures, but he was not taught Vedantic scriptures. Until he came across my guru who appealed to him. Because here's a man who's teaching Vedanta. Scientifically, step by step, Vedanta was taught. And by then, the Vedantic course also was not ready. I'm talking in 1988. When he met my guru first, he didn't even have a course offered. Because 88, the course was offered. But when he knew there was a man teaching the knowledge, he said, man, nobody ever told me that there's something called the Shastras. I imagine in South Africa, what kind of an exposure they would have had. But he was a man ready for knowledge. For over 10, 15 years, he was doing seva. But then when he realized that, then he made that switch to seek this knowledge. So the search must be on. The genuine inquiry must be on. A genuine realization of what your requirements must be there. You must know what your requirements are. You must know what your spiritual personality is. When your requirements are there, when you're very clear what your demands are, a guru will come and supply. If you yourself are not sure what you want to shop, you will just be walking around in the mall not knowing what to buy. But if you know what's specific to buy, you will go to the store and pick up and go out. There's a difference in that. Many spiritual seekers are walking in the mall just for time pass, not knowing everything is interesting for them. Look at that furniture. Look at this fragrance. Look at that food. Look at that cinema. You're entertaining yourself because you have nothing specific to buy. But a person who wants to watch a movie in the mall, he goes to the mall to watch a movie. He's not interested in anything else. Specific requirement, there's specific supply. So what kind of a seeker are you? Are you going for general inquiry in the spiritual field, where every guru, every activity will entertain you? Or are you going with a specific need to uplift yourself? I need to buy groceries, you go to the grocery store. I need to buy garments, you go to the garment store. You want a sports apparel, you can't go to a grocery store and say, I want sports apparel. You'll go to a sports store and buy a sports apparel. It's specific to the requirement. And spirituality is specific demand, specific supply.
Guruji, if I understand it correctly, it may appear to be very spontaneous and you are unconsciously, you are getting attached to a guru. There is always a science behind that. There is always there is a chemistry behind that.
Indeed.
It may appear that I just got attracted and something like that.
Indeed.
Definitely a science behind that.
Indeed, a great science. It's a very scientific thing. But one small correction, sir, don't get attached to any guru, sir. Please go to as many gurus as possible. Don't be attached to any guru. I am saying because you said attached to a guru. Don't. Leave the guru free. Let the guru be free and you also be free. Don't add one more samsara on your head. Okay. I will have to leave it at that, and we'll come back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।